Hey YouTube, what's going on? Mark here from TST Industries, back in the garage, and beside me I have the 4th generation 2024 and up Yamaha MT-09, and in this video I will be guiding you through the installation process of our Mech-GTR front turn signals. Now this product has quickly become a staple for our company. This is a TST Industries exclusive design, and as you can see out of the box we have a super elegant, extremely unique front turn signal design that features a bright LED turn signal function with plug and play capabilities right out of the box with the help of our included harness converters. And not only do you have a super bright turn signal function, you also have the ability to introduce a running light function with the color of your choice. Now, there is one thing to note: if you are an international customer, we are located here in North America. All of our products are designed for the North American market. That means if you are an international customer, you may not have the same connectors, or your bike may not feature the running light function by default as we've seen on previous models. Do not fret, we do have a solution for you. Be sure to read through the ad specifically and click on the hyperlink that is on the product page that will take you to an international specific kit that will allow you to obtain the running light function if you are interested in that. Now, with all that in mind, this installation process is very simple. Thanks to Yamaha's unique and updated styling and installation process, this is 2 bolts and you have the OEM signal out and you're ready to ride once you replace them. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right in and begin the installation process. To begin this installation process, we will need a size 4 hex bit, hex key, Allen key, whatever tool you have in your garage. We are going to be removing these 2 bolts located on the front of the signal shroud. With the OEM bolts removed, you can gently pry outward on this panel, the outer signal shroud, freeing it from its locking tabs. You're going to be very gentle with it, but intentional. You can see here we have these locking tabs that slide into these features here, and that gives you access to the wiring. Toss this to the side. And now we are going to focus on the black connector. This is the left side, the clutch side of the bike. There are 2 connectors located here. We are going to focus on the one with 3 wires coming out of it. The other connector does have 4 wires. We're going to press on the tab, the bottom half of the connector, and pull apart. Now, we will have to cut off the small zip tie located here. This is securing and routing the cables into place. So we'll go ahead and snip that off. And now the removal of the signal. What I'm going to show is probably the easiest way to do it. And once I get the signal off of the bike, I will actually show you what's happening. But you are going to push forward on the signal so that it actually goes through the housing. And then you will pry up on these tabs located on the back, releasing this plastic adapter plate, security plate, that locks the signal in place. And now we will go ahead and snake the wire with the blue tape on it, release it from the routing guide. And it is a little tight up here just because of the other connector that Yamaha has placed in this signal shroud. So you want to be very careful. You don't want to get snagged on anything. Just like that, you now have all of the wiring and the whole signal assembly free. And now we will pull outward and route the wires through the housing, freeing the signal from the shroud. Now what we did when we pushed the signal forward and then pried up on the plastic, on the rubber tabs here, is we were actually freeing one of the cutouts on this security plate from its locked in position, and that frees the opposite end, and then you're able to completely remove that and then flex this piece. When that security plate is in place, you do not have as much flex, which keeps it in place. A lot of people tend to upgrade their signals on these newer Yamahas because they seem floppy. This is the technology behind it and why it seems floppy. Now, with the OEM signal off of the bike, we can go ahead and jump right in. But before we do that, we are going to remove this outer grommet from the OEM signal. And we are going to retain that and actually reinsert it onto the signal shroud. So you can see there is a flat portion, and we need the flat face facing outward of the bike. And there's a small channel here that interlocks with the surface here. So we're going to go ahead and just flex this grommet into place just like that. And now we can go ahead and grab our new signal equipment. Now there are a few ways that you can prep this. In the box for the signals, we do include 2 sets of these ratcheting fasteners. 1 ratcheting fastener will be used on each signal, and we include a spare set in case you lose them, damage them, just want extras. We also include these optional O-rings. They will not be necessary on this model, but if you do want to use them, you can, and I will show you how. But first, we have our signal housing here. We will go ahead and grab the running light module of your choosing. And in this case, we are installing the hyper white running light. And what you want to do is, out of the box, the wiring may look something like this or like this. You want to actually route the wiring through the channel on the running light module so that instead of being on the LED side, you are actually on the back side, like so. Now with that in place, you can go ahead and you can see here how it interlocks. And we will route the cables coming from the signal body through the channel as well. And then we will press on the running light module and it self-locates and locks itself in place. Now with that in place, you can see why we routed it this way, so the LEDs are facing inward towards the signal body and not outward towards the center of your bike. We will connect the 2 black connectors to each other. And they are orientation specific. There's a small tab feature here and an exposed side on the opposite side. The tab will interlock with this tab on the running light module housing. You hear a small click. That means that the security tab is engaged. Now we are ready to route the signal through the grommet and into this signal shroud. So we will do that. And these signals are not side specific. So you can slide them in, and the reason we use that OEM grommet is to provide a little bit of friction and tension, but also to avoid vibrations. Now, at this point, we can go ahead and grab our ratcheting lock. As you route it through, route the wires through the ratcheting lock, you want the teeth of it facing the signal. So again, teeth facing the signal, we route the wires through, and then we will locate onto the signal body and press down. And I know you can't see what I'm doing, but you gotta trust me. No, I will show you what we're doing on the other signal. This ratcheting lock has 2 teeth, 2 tabs located here, and they interlock and secure against the notches on the signal housing. So what you do on the back side that you cannot see is you align it like so, and as you insert it and securing it in place, it's actually ratcheting down onto the signal body, securing it in place. And this is a good time to also show you how to remove them. With the tabs in place, you can see here you do have access to the locking tab. You would pry outward like so and push up gently and kind of go one end at a time until you are free, and that is how you remove the ratcheting lock on these signals. Now we'll toss this to the side. Let's not worry about that. We will hop onto the brake side of the bike in just a second. But before we get to that point, we do need to configure our wiring here. As you can see, we have the OEM connector and bullet connectors, and well, that just doesn't work. So what we are going to do here is route both cables coming from the Mech-GTR body through the routing guide that we removed the OEM signal wiring from, and then we will reintroduce those other two cables. And with the Mech-GTR signal wiring in place, you can see here it does get very discreet. We will grab our harness converters, and this is very, very direct for you users out there. In this situation, you are just color matching. So you would go red to red, wait for the click, blue to blue, wait for the click, and then brown to brown. Now before you power on your bike, it is important that you isolate these connectors. We do have these pre-installed rubber sleeves that you can slip over each connector end, like so. You do one on this end and one on the opposite end, and that does isolate it. In addition to this, we always recommend applying some electrical tape to just secure it in place, provide additional security. These bikes especially are pretty thumpy, so vibrations are normal and expected. So we'll go ahead and use the pre-included security measures and then add in some additional ones just to play it safe. But without doing that, let's go ahead and test our signal before we button this all up. We connected the Mech-GTR connector to the OEM bike side harness. You heard the audible clip. That means that it is engaged. Now when we turn the signal or the bike onto accessory mode, you can see we have a very nice hyper white running light function. And when we activate our signals, you can see the signal does flash. And when the signal turns off, the running light is reintroduced. Now we have a few inches of electrical tape here. The best method that I find is isolating one of the connectors, applying electrical tape in a slightly diagonal manner, and then isolating that connector by itself to the point where you do not see the bullet connectors any longer. And once that's done, you can see here it is isolated and we secured it to the actual wiring. Now we will grab a second bullet connector assembly and wrap that one to the main body we just did, just like so. That doesn't need as many. You're really just creating a nice bundle at this point. Now we have two wires and we do the same with the third, bundling them all together, creating a very nice package here. Makes it very, very easy for installation and for wire routing when everything is put together nice and neat. And now you have effectively isolated all of your bullet connectors with the rubber sleeves and introduced an added layer in case you do find yourselves vibrating around a little too much and those rubber sleeves come loose. Now we can go ahead and route the wiring here. You do have a wire routing guide here, so you can use that to your benefit, how you see fit. I like to just make a nice little bundle here. And now we did cut off a zip tie, if you remember, when we were removing the OEM signals. If you have some small zip ties handy, you can go ahead and introduce one now. And what I like to do is just bend the tip of it inward, like so, creating a little hook. And that allows you to actually pretty easily snake it through here. And then we'll grab a little tool just to grab it, like so. And now we can grab all the wiring and bundle it together. There you are, just like that. Still using the wire routing guide down below. And we'll cut off the excess here. And before we button this up, Let's go ahead and just check one more time. Still good. Still good. And just like that, you have now upgraded your front turn signals. Now at this point, you can cover this side. We no longer need access to this. So again, I find best to apply from the top downward, ensuring that you're interlocking all the way down. So if you line up this top into this channel here, you can see here just like that. And now everything will just snap into place like so. And we will go ahead and grab the OEM bolts. By hand, always start threading them into place. This ensures you are not cross-threading. Grab the top one and do the same. And once they're bottomed out by hand, you can just grab your tool and give them a nice little 1/8 of an inch turn or an 1/8 of a rotation turn, 1/2 inch turn, ensuring that they are engaged. There's some preloaded tension there. Now you will hop on over to the other side of the bike, repeat those steps, and this installation will be complete. And just like that, you are now ready to hit the road. You've effectively swapped out your OEM front turn signals, gotten rid of the floppy, bulky signals for something more modern with some aggressive styling and improved functionality that matches the lines and the aesthetics of the bike, all while being plug and play. It's a win-win situation. If you like these signals, you want to check them out or see what else we have in store for the all-new 4th generation 2024 and up Yamaha MT-09, please be sure to visit our website, tstindustries.com. The link to these signals can be found in the description below. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, you just want to say, hey, let us know where you're watching from, please feel free to do so down in the comment field below the video. If you found this video helpful, please be sure to give us a thumbs up and don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with all the new and exciting videos we've got going on. And lastly, please stop by our social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all username TST Industries. For now, this has been Mark from the TST Garage, and we will catch you next time.